Hello and welcome to the show. We're back at the Endurodrome with more vehicles being driven till destruction. Starting today with the new car in Beam, the Autobello Piccolina. It is a small classic Italian car, rear-engined, I think air-cooled. Not exactly the strongest vehicle though, from my experience, brief experience with crashing it. I'm not sure how well it's going to hold up to what is a pretty damn nasty course here. But you never know. Small cars have in general tended to struggle around this circuit for survivability, but maybe this will be a different story. That snap and subsequent bent steering doesn't fill me with confidence. Maybe not as bad as I thought it was. Maybe it's okay. It's not as bad. It's not as bad as initially thought. That's not ideal though. Not gonna lie. Well, it's done a front flip already. Well done. Oh, and we've collapsed the front left suspension. Excellent start. Now, this particular version, I've got the 150 Corsa version of the car. This is kind of a factory race prepared version. It's got a decently powerful engine, fairly stripped out interior, fairly light and everything. So it should be fairly nippy around this sort of a course. I'm hoping it might have better cooling than the normal ones, so we might not just overheat the engine by driving around. Because at the Endurodrome, the rules are all vehicles have to be driven as hard as possible, and well, normal versions of this do like to overheat when driven quite hard. Admittedly, we are going to have the occasional rests as the car gets stuck in the mud or rolls over and so on. So it will have that happening. We are going to have to try and pull you out of the mud. This, again, we're allowed to pull cars if they get stuck in the mud pit. Apparently I just pulled off the entire front bumper. That's not as well connected as I'd hoped. I kind of thought because we were, you know, fairly early on in the run, we'd be alright, but no, apparently not. Yeah, we've had a few cars that have had issues going through the mud pit if they don't get the momentum into it right, and, well, yeah, we got stuck there. Oh, the rockery is going to be fun with this. Don't land on the engine. Please don't land on the engine. The engine's at the back, so I would rather we clonk down on the front, to be honest. The fuel tank is in the front, and I don't know whether we might end up rupturing the fuel tank with a big hit across one of these jumps. Not quite sure how all of that might work. There's a lot of bent bodywork going on. I think the bodywork makes the whole car look a lot more twisted than it actually is. However, certainly we've got one side at the front has got collapsed suspension. There we go, you can see. Move forward. That side is very poorly. Don't know how long that wheel is going to last. Truth is, the likely ways this car is going to go out of this course is probably going to be losing a front wheel, or certainly steering damage. I guess it might, if we land on the back awkwardly, we might be able to take out the engine. We're not going to see drive shaft, of course. Well, if we see a drive shaft, chances are we're going to take the engine out as well with it, as the engine is at the back. It's rear-wheel drive, so there's no real long drive shaft going underneath the car to cause problems for the vehicle. Oh, not quite fast enough. Up there, we do crash back down. Again, surprisingly, we crash back down on that same corner that's taken a lot of damage. Oh. You know what, that's just adding insult to injury right there. You know what, we'll fall over. It's fine, we'll just do that, shall we? I was worried we were going to clonk down on a speed bump. We did, but it didn't actually do anything to the car. It looks like we might complete the first lap. We spent a lot of time upside down. We've been floundering around with the car, but it does look like, we don't really turn very well to the left anymore, but it does look like we are going to finish this first lap in just about one piece. Still got more than enough steering to make our way through the chicane, which is good. And we are going to complete a first lap. Well, I did kind of half expect it might go out quicker, so... Oh, we're going to have the flappy... Sure, you know what? Flap the boot around, that's okay. I mean, it's not going to make any bit of difference to us. Chances are, if we're going to have a big hit on the back, the boot's not going to save any of the important engine bits, whether it's on there or not. Sometimes, with some cars, we've had, like, the front bumper can protect the radiator for a little while. But, yeah, there's not issues we're likely to have with this car. Oh, got it. Oh, the front of this car is getting worse. Okay, yeah, the front of this car is getting very bad. We might... Now, we have seen, it's rare, but we have seen cars where the front gets so bent that it kind of catches on the floor constantly or catches on speed bumps. Speed bumps are actually the fear if we bend the front too much. Now, there isn't an engine to snap in this like most of the cars that have gone out through that way. I've got very little steering to the left, Not quite. Ooh, I've just noticed as we turn the wheels, we get very... Well, they don't really stay... They're not very well positioned, the front wheels, anymore. It does kind of look as if they are leaning over quite badly. Into the mud pit we go. Are we going to be able to get through here? Nope. Can we reverse our way out of it? While I'm not allowed to reverse to get myself around a corner, I am allowed to reverse to get out of a mud pit. This is not a case of steering failure, this is just a case of the car is stuck again. It is surprisingly moving in reverse. I think we're going to have to pull it out. We'll be here all day trying to get that one free. That does give the engine a little bit of a break. It is getting warm, the engine in this car. It will have a little bit of a rest now as we go to pull the vehicle out of the mud pit. Come on. Oh yeah, it doesn't like that section. I'm not all that surprised, let's face it. It is very small. The front is now so low to the ground that that's basically a plough as we jump into the mud pit, so it's not going to like that. It's not going to like over here as well, is it really? Nope. To answer your question, to answer the question that, well, no one's really surprised by the answer, doesn't like the rock pit anymore. I think we're going to start having some real steering trouble. I don't even know if that wheels are touching the ground anymore. Oh, are we stuck in another... There's too much mud for the poor little car. There is too much mud for the poor little car. Let's just get you out of there. Now, do you still have any sort of steering going on? The front left, I don't think is touching the ground anymore. Oh, it is just, but only just. That is a concern for the car. Not gonna lie, that is a pretty big concern for the vehicle. I don't think we really want to hit that front left anymore if we can help it. But we've still got surprisingly good amount of steering. Considering the amount of damage that's in the front of this car, I'm amazed that we are still able to make these corners with relative ease. I am worried about the speed bumps, though. I am worried about the speed bumps because there's no suspension movement anymore. All the shock is just going to go straight through the car. That's a nasty hit as well. We are, again, landing on those front wheels. They're held on strongly, I will give the car that much. Those front wheels are really well stuck on the vehicle. Even if we've not great at turning anymore, it's still got more than that. We'll still be fine to make it through the chicanes. Come on, we can make it onto a third lap, surely, although this is the dangerous bit here. Are we going to be able to make it on across the jump? I think we've still got enough speed in the car, you know? Almost. Almost had enough speed in the car. We're going to clonk down on the roof. We're going to actually bend all the bodywork. It leant over to one side. Something pinged off. I don't think it was important. I hope it wasn't important. It's pinged off whatever it was. We're still good. The bodywork is all at a different angle to where it was supposed to be. The rear left is at a wonky angle, but again, we still have a full accompaniment of steering. How are you still working, car? I have absolutely... It's a stubborn little car, this one. This is a very stubborn little car. I have no idea how it's still working. But I wouldn't have put money on it surviving this long. I mean, going out in spectacular fashion, sure. Still running when looking like this? Probably not. Probably not. Steering is, again, getting worse. It is... pulling the car about almost randomly. Oh, and land it. Lovely, lovely stunting right there. That was a solid 9 out of 10 stunt right there. Could have gone for a little bit more spectacular rolls, but the landing was exquisite. Yeah, okay, steering is now starting to get more and more poorly. Well, we've actually got... Again, you can just about see. It's quite difficult to do this while trying to drive the car. But you can actually see as we're turning these corners now, the front wheels are like leaning over so much. There's only a tiny bit of tyre touching the road. That's why we're struggling with steering. We've actually got a still decent amount of steering lock, but the tyres are just skidding across the top of the road because they've got... I mean, that's not quite what you want your wheels to be doing. That is, I can confirm, that is not what you want your wheels to be doing around here. I mean, the car is still working. Amazingly, the car is still working. Oh, there we go. It's got... Yeah, that speed bump didn't help matters. It's got worse. Come on! Vehicle, make it through the mud. If you can make it through the mud pit this time around, that would be amazing stuff. I think we can make it through. If we don't... No. I don't think we're ever going to be able to make it through. We could potentially make it through if... oh, well, that bonnet wasn't held on very well. I'm not even really sure what I can grab in the front of this car. Yeah, there would be potential to make it through, I think, if we didn't have completely broken steering, because we're just flying into here. The steering, or front wheels are just basically killing all of our momentum, if you like, because they're... Oh, well, that's really, really unhealthy now at the front. Yeah, because the front wheels are bent at awkward angles, so they're just kind of slowing us down, and then we don't have control, and then we spin, and as soon as you lose momentum, as soon as you spin in the mud pit, you're not getting going again in a car like this one. Oh, that goes the fuel tank. It was a fear I had about the fuel tank. We are going to get stuck going down here on the rocks. We are going to have to, well, roll the car down there. Come on. Ah, I knew being beached was an issue there. Come on. Come on. If we had something break, I think that fuel tank rupture is actually going to be the death of us. We've not got very much. Well, we've already lost half the tank of fuel. We are going down now in... We're going to just go as far as we can, pretty much, before all of the fuel escapes from the tank. Can we make it down this next straight? I'm amazed in many ways that it's a fuel tank that gets us. It was a concern having the fuel tank at the front, being the front that often gets hit. However, probably last longer this way round than if the engine had been at the front. I suspect something would have killed the engine had we had that at the front long before the ruptured fuel tank. And there we go. The tank is empty. There is no more driving. I'm amazed it survived as long as it did. I'm absolutely amazed it survived as long as it did. The front was completely destroyed. I mean, you can see the steering. That's not how wheels are supposed to work at the front. That's not where you want your wheels leaning. I'm pretty sure... Is that a shock absorber poking out at the front? Are you a shock absorber? Were you once a shock absorber? Very hard to tell, but there's certainly something poking out there that, well, shouldn't be in the great trying to have... It is, I think. I think that's what's left at the top of the shock absorber, poking out the front of the car. At the other side's doing this. It's quite broken. It's quite broken. It's an impressive mess. However, survived way better than I expected it to. Up next, we have got the return of the caravan. Yes, it was highly entertaining watching it cause all sorts of chaos last time around. What might it do this time out? Being pulled by a different car. The Lagran is going to have its chance at pulling around the caravan. Now, I've got the V6 towing package on the Lagran, so it should be pretty good at this sort of stuff. It's as good, well, probably about as good as Lagran is going to get for this sort of stuff. It does have heavy-duty suspension on the car, which might help it survive. We know the caravan is going to fall apart. Okay, this much we can guarantee you. It's very unlikely to make half a lap. I think the mud pit is where we lost it last time out. If we can make it further than the mud pit before the entire main body of the caravan falls apart, it would be fun. It would be nice to take it to the big jump and see what happens. Yeah, it's going to fall apart. We know that much on the caravan. However, once the body has gone, the trailer will remain, and the trailer won't detach from the car ever. I don't even know if there's a big enough crash in the game that can detach those. There might be. I guess if the tow hook got ripped off the car, possibly. Basically, you kind of weld the nodes together, they get stuck together, and that's that. Oh, I've been beaten by my own caravan. Hold on. We have rolled the caravan slightly. Oh. That's pretty not a clever idea, actually. Can we? I'm trying to get this back over without tearing it apart on its own. Okay, it is back. Caravan is back together. I mean, we can see the damage to the body of the caravan already. That was just a couple of speed bumps. Just a couple of speed bumps around here, and the caravan is in all sorts of trouble. Yeah, it does. The fact the front of the car is actually very unhealthy from these opening parts, which I am kind of surprised about. I don't really know why the front of the car's unhappy. I've not really had any of the big jumps to deal with. Downsides for the Lagran in pulling this. The Lagran is front-wheel drive, and front-wheel drives do not tend to have the best luck. Well, we're not going to get through the mud pit, are we now? We're going to have to be pulled, because I was fighting the caravan. No. Oh, I don't want to pull another car through the mud pit. Christ, we're actually going to be able to pull the Lagran from. I don't really want to pull the front bumper, because I think I'm just going to pull the bumper off. But there we go. We've got to try and get it through here. Relatively. Going to pull it from the roof, maybe? It might make it fly slightly, but... Well, the caravan is going to make it through the mud pit this time by virtue of being pulled. The Regency drove it through here, no problem. Well, I mean, it's gone through here at some speed. Some speed, it's got up at the midpoint. Not much, but there we go. Right. Here we go, towards the rocks. If this doesn't kill the caravan, it'll be the next jump that does. Let's face it. Here we go, across the rock pit for the Lagran. Oh, caravan is still in one piece. I'm amazed. I'm struggling. Oh, this is not the best car. It's not as good as the Regency was quite powerful that we used. It's not the best car for trying to pull a caravan around. I'm kind of looking forward to the caravan falling apart for the weight reduction. Oh, well, there it goes. It's got in one. It's got in one big chunk. Kind of hoped it might have made it to the bigger back jump, but that's always where it's likely to go. Well, now we are considerably lighter. The Lagran will probably be considerably happier dealing with this. That caravan is in a really awkward place for future laps, though. The main body of that is in a very awkward place for future laps, because I don't really want to hit that, because that's a decent amount of weight, a decent amount of, well, debris to try and drive a car through. I've seen what damage it can cause, crashing into a caravan at high speeds to the car, so we don't really want to be fighting with that if we can help it. That might make the line I take over that jump different, and we might end up having to land awkwardly. We'll find out next time around. We will find out next time around what happens there. We should be good to make it up here. Whoa, still got the toilet attached to the back of it. The front of the Lagran is a little buckled. Nothing terrible. Now, what we saw last time with the trailer was the actual trailer suspension gave up. And once that gave up, all sorts of horrendous physics things occurred. The car itself actually didn't do too badly. The car lost a radiator, was staying fairly cool until the trailer was so broken I had to work the car immensely hard, and that blew the engine to bits. Whether we will see that with the Lagran, I think the Lagran is probably not quite as strong as the Regency we used. Again, front-wheel drive isn't great for this. The front of the car, as I said, takes a battering in general around here, so we're more likely to be losing front wheels, front wheel axles, and so on. I think the Lagran is one of the very few cars that can work with only one front wheel driven. The diff will allow it to put some power down, or until you start, using custom cars and whatnot. But this is something it has got going for it, but I don't really want to be losing a wheel. If we lose one wheel, the difficulty in driving it with the trailer flapping about doing whatever the hell it wants, that will probably not be great. But we are looking fairly good. I think the toilet lasted longer on this one. That is a bonus. The toilet trailer is doing better than it did being pulled by the Regency. It's bouncing across some speed bumps. I don't know how many speed bumps it takes. How many speed bumps does it take to murder a caravan trailer? What's left of the caravan anyway? Don't know. Don't know. Into the mud pit we go. We should be better like this. Come on. Come on, Lagran. You can do it. Pull your way out. Haha! Nicely does it. Okay. We are through the mud pit. Better than the Autobello, that is for sure. Oh, that caravan is in an awful place. That caravan is in a really, really, really bad place on that jump. I guess I'm going to have to... Oh, the radiator's gone on my car. That's annoying. We're going to have to go this way, I think, to try and avoid it. Oh, it's a big hit. We've clipped a bit of it. We have clipped a bit of the trailer. Yeah, that's a really unhelpful place. That's a really unhelpful place for the caravan. Oh, for us to have to be driving around. How are those wheels doing on the trailer? They look pretty okay. They look pretty okay for now. You can see the axle juddering about as they ping around, but they are still attached. If the axle shifts, that's when we have issues. I mean, Lagran's not doing too badly. It's a shame the radiator got pinged across the rock pit, because the rest of the car, I mean, drive-wise, we're fine. Steering's not even pulling at all on the car, which is unusual at this stage. Oh, trailer's having issues. Toilet trailer, no. Toilet trailer, stop it. Toilet's still attached. There's some strong toilet fitting has gone on with this particular version. Very strong toilet fitting has gone on with this particular version. Oh, don't do that, trailer. Trailer wanted to lead. That's not quite how it works. Nearly got overtaken by our own toilet trailer. That would not be ideal. Temperature's still sitting firmly around the middle. No, that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. Oh, we're going to ping it. I've actually driven that a little bit wonky. We've still got more than enough steering. Yeah, steering-wise, we're fine. Trailer, again, just checking on the suspension for that. All seems okay. We will have issues with temperature. At the end of the day, this is going to overheat. Depending on how bad the leak is on the radiator will depend on how quickly it overheats and so on. Depending on how much we have to work the car, if the trailer starts getting more awkward. We might have to drive the car harder to try it, or work the engine harder just to, you know, drive normally around here. If the wheels start getting buckled, all that. Many things can make you have to work the engine harder, will make the temperature go up quicker. As it is, I suspect we'll probably see, oh, if something else doesn't get it, it'll be the end of this lap, or maybe we'll make it to the start of the next. Maybe, but I think that's going to be a difficult one. It might get, if it gets stuck in the mud pit, it might get a rest. Oh, that was a fun, weird vibration just went through the caravan. Oh yeah, okay, so the caravan wheels are gone. Caravan, the trailer does not last as well as the cars. That is for sure. The trailer really is going to be a very, very similar. The question is, will the trailer cause us... I don't think the trailer will cause us grief before the engine explodes on this one. It is in trouble, the engine. Not the trailer, sorry. The engine is in trouble as well. Come on then. I'm just going to pull you by the front bumper. I'm not going to be damaging the radiator anymore. It's already gone pretty much at this point. So we can grab the chassis rail, I think, there. Now, oh, come back here, car. There we go. Grab you. Get you onto the road. Yeah, so we have seen fairly similar failure on the caravan. I never knew whether it was a one-off with the Regency or not. Uh-oh, that's not really helped. I don't think I want the trailer upside down. Although it does stop the wheels from freaking out on the floor. It makes it more difficult for me to drive. It stops the wheels freaking out on the floor, which is something. Uh-oh. Yeah, okay, it does make it considerably more difficult for me to drive with the trailer upside down. We are struggling to get any speed up when it's like that. This is going to be a session of... Oh, come on, trailer, roll over. Trailer, I need you the right way up, really, for this. It's actually very difficult to roll the trailer over. There's not much to grab on here. Come on, over we go. This kind of does give the car a little bit of a break in some ways. Christ, this trailer is fiddly bugger to ride. I didn't have this much trouble with the other bloody trailer. Right, so you can see how much it's shuddering. I actually probably want to put the strength up. Maybe that'll help. Come on, trailer. Over we go. Over we go. It's very difficult. And now I can't move the bloody camera. Oh, trailer's freaking out. Trailer's very unhappy with this. It really doesn't want to get rolled back over again. There we go. It is uncomfortable. It is back over again. Lagran gets a little bit of a rest in all of that, but the trailer is at unhappy positions. It's tangled up with the rear bumper. I'm not sure the rear of my car is actually on the ground very easily. Thankfully, the Lagran is front-wheel drive, so it doesn't actually matter all that much if the rear wheels are touching the ground. Although it probably does matter if we've only got the trailer's... The trailer is vibrating. The wheels are no longer hooked up in the trailer. What is going on with that suspension? Ooh, the wheels are no longer fixed in place, but there's just massive vibrations are going through that trailer, which is pinging everything around. Oh, now one of the wheels is back hooked. Oh, they are both back fixed. It's almost like we've got bungee cord on the rear, on that axle. We've got bungee cord pinging it around wildly. This might not be good for... It's not going to be good for the car, and the engine's very poorly. But, come on. What is he going to do when we hit the landing here to the poor trailer? Oh, the trailer's actually going to send us flying off into a bush. We are through, though. We are out the other side. We are still going. Suspension-wise on the car isn't great. Oh, we've lost front right. Front right's lost steering. So, well, not only we've got a trailer with bungee cord wheels, we've lost a front wheel now. We might have fun and games trying to get this through the petrol station. I don't know if we can turn left well enough. I don't know if we can turn... We can turn right, because that wheel is bent pointing right. But left is a difficult corner for us to make. What is going to kill the car? Will the trailer freak out and destroy everything again? Will the engine explode? Or will we just not be able to steer it in the very near future? Oh, come on now. I know my steering predicament with the car. I have to be able to drive it through here under my own steam, which we have beached it on a curb. I am allowed to free it if it is beached on the curb. That was not a steering failure as such of the vehicle. That was yeah, it was just beached. I'm amazed this is still going. Oh, Christ, the trailer. Oh, the trailer's picking around. Yeah, we've driven caravans on other destruction circuits, and they've never had this level of well, problems. We've never had the suspension pinging about so badly. So something about the Endurodrome really destroys caravan trailers well, like mechanically destroys them, not just knocks the caravan off them. Can I actually get you through this chicane? We've just got steering. This does help the overheating a little bit in some ways, this steering problem, because it means I just can't attack these corners anywhere near the same sort of speed as I would normally. Trailer bouncing around randomly. So yeah, the engine might work slightly, I might be slightly less on the throttle in places. I'm amazed it's still going, this car. How are you alive? How are you still going around this circuit? It's a good showing from a front-wheel drive car. It's a very good showing from a front-wheel drive car here. Still just got steering. I mean, if we can make it to the mud pit, we're going to get beached in there, although we might overheat on the way in, let's face it. Oh, the front of the car is now quite bent down. Oh, the Lagran does not want to give up here. The Lagran really, really doesn't want to give up here, although I think it's about to be enough. I think time is about to be called on the car. I can't even steer into the mud pit. Well, I don't know whether this helps the car or not. We are stuck again on the outside. Will it overheat before I have... Oh, I think the engine's gone there. I haven't even had time. Didn't even have time to get to pull it out. I don't think the engine works. If the engine doesn't work, I'm not pulling it out of the mud pit. There is no point. No, there is no engine. There is no engine in that. The Lagran is done. The trailer didn't kill it. In the end, it overheated, although we were very close to losing steering as well. But while the trailer didn't technically kill it, we did see a similar outcome. I say similar outcome. The suspension on the trailer did disintegrate on its own as well. So we can repeat that last showing. The caravan really does not like this circuit. The rear bumper got tangled. Yeah, that's all very well tangled up in there. It's a little bit of a mess at the back of the vehicle. But a very, very good showing from this, nevertheless. And our final vehicle to run around this course today is a Covet, but not a normal one. No, this is a kind of Mad Max style Covet. It's called the Little Turtle. And there is a version with a cannon on the roof, which I've decided not to run. The cannon makes it fall over an awful lot, unbalances a lot. I'm kind of curious to see how this vehicle will do. As you can see, I mean, the basics of it is a Covet, but it's got dual rear wheels. The suspension, I suspect, might be more heavy duty. It is potentially going to be heavier in general, though, having all of this armour and whatnot on the car. So, yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to see from this in terms of survivability. Small cars, Covet in general, hasn't done particularly well around here. They have tended to take a battering. I believe this is actually still front-wheel drive, despite having dual rear wheels. So that's a thing we're going to have to deal with. As I said, the suspension is going to be all sorts of interesting around here. If we can keep the wing and mohawk for the extent of the run, I'd be quite impressed. Gearing seems funky as well, but never mind. Wow, that's not pleasant to cross. A lot of things are flexing across these bumps, which doesn't fill me with confidence. It's not a sight you want to see in your car as you drive around a destruction circuit. All of the bits and pieces wobbling and flexing. Certainly doesn't fill me with confidence should we be attacked by bandits, etc. Thankfully, we don't have to worry too much about that. We just have to worry about trying to not have the car fall apart. I mean, I would imagine surely this has got to survive at least a lap around here. If it doesn't, it's a pretty terrible apocalypse car. Oh, it's not going to survive a... Well, it might not survive a lap. Did that just do what I think that did? I think I've snapped the rear right. That rear right axle did not look happy going through the mud pit there. There's a lot of crashing and banging. Okay, maybe it's... Oh, front wheel's gone. Front wheel's gone badly on this one. Oh no, it had gone. It was inside out and then it pinged itself free. Okay. These axles are surprisingly resilient. It looks like they've gone beyond all the rear of the cars. Oh, the rear of the car's not happy anymore. That's, I think, the extra weight. It's definitely getting lower at the back. I fear that might be the extra weight. Crunching down on the rear. That's... Yeah, it's got worse. Are we going to have the rear wheels, like, pushed up to the point where there's, well, the chassis on the floor? Possibly. The radiator has gone on this. Perhaps not a surprise. I say not a surprise. I'd hope like the bull bars at the front might have protected it, but apparently not. In fact, crash may well have pushed one of the bars through the radiator. How are we for speed-wise? We should be pretty good. I've got to work the engines hard because I've got to try and get up to speed for this. Oh, nicely does it across there. Very nicely does it. Bit of a tough landing for the vehicle. That has made matters worse. I'm not sure this is the car I want in the apocalypse. I'm going to be on it. Well, not if the apocalypse involves driving through kind of terrain like this, involves this sort of challenge, then I'm not sold on this car so far. The rear wheels look questionable. Rear wheels look questionable. The radiator's already gone. I'm pretty sure we had a front wheel inside out at one point. But steering, as we complete our first lap, steering-wise, we are still mostly going in a straight line, which is something. Temperature is good. I think this is actually going to overheat before something else potentially goes wrong with it, because we are braking the suspension, but we're not actually braking it all that quickly, which is kind of a surprise in some ways. After the... Well, it looks really bad compared to the normal one, but it is at least holding together. And again, we can lose the rear wheels in this car. It'll make it awkward, and it will, you know, work the engine incredibly hard if we lose all the rear wheels, because then I have to drag its arse along the floor. But if it's front-wheel drive, it would still work. We have very rarely seen front-wheel drive cars lose rear wheels, but it can happen, and they will still keep on going. Are we going to be able to make it through the mud pit again? I've stuck it up in third. I don't know if I need to carry speed into here, and I need to be able to punch through here, but this is painful to the poor temperature. Okay, so we are good at getting through the mud pit at least. We are good at getting through there, even if that does a lot of... It looks like it does a lot of damage to the rear wheels. Come on then, car. Across the rock pit we go. Oh, there's a lot of vibrating from the armour plating at the back. These mud pits are... like, the car sinks... I think that it feels like it's sinking more into that mud pit than we've done before. I don't know whether that's just the rear wheels and potentially a slightly interesting hitbox going on, but there we go. We very nearly pushed that rear wheel up. That rear wheel's nearly snapped, I feel, there. The gearbox is gear ratios of this are a bit weird. Not helped by sound being very quiet on this particular car. I'm sure I'll have boosted it in editing, but for me at the moment, sound is very quiet in this car, engine-wise. The engine is in trouble, though. If we can make it, hell, if we can make it onto lap 3, that's actually done pretty well for a Covet, considering the level of damage it took quite early on and the concerns we've got with this rear suspension. If it does make it onto a third lap, that will be very good going, although the temperature is now basically maxed out. Come on, Covet, make the jump. There we go. That's actually gone pretty well. That's about as good as I could hope for on the jump. The rear, the rear right is all sorts of unhappy. Head gasket's gone. We just need to make it through the petrol station if we can. Make it through the petrol station. Good, Covet. Don't lose your rear wheels now. Out the other side. It's gone. I've actually lost gears. It was in neutral, it just wouldn't go up, and I guess we're going to let it coast. It will conk out underneath the bridge. There is going to be no more hope for that engine. That engine is done for. Put on a pretty good show. I will give it that much. It put on a pretty damn good show. I was kind of half hoping we'd lose the rear wheels before the engine gave up. Unfortunately, the radiator a little too exposed on this, even with all the armour plating. Needs better armour around the radiator, and then better suspension. But, yeah, as far as Covets go, not too shabby. As far as Apocalypse cars go, let's hope there aren't too many radiator punching stuff. Although, yeah, as I said, the rear wheels are a little bit suspect on this. Fun, good fun nevertheless. On to our leaderboard, and for the second time, a car towing a caravan has gone better than the car on its own. The Lagran goes into 16th place. Gets onto that fourth lap while pulling a caravan, beats the Falcon, beats the Street 200BX, beats the Ambulance, the Satsuma, and beats the normal Lagran, and goes on to become the furthest distance travelled by a front-wheel drive vehicle. Yeah, I wasn't necessarily expecting that, but there we go. Apparently caravans make cars survive longer around the Endurodrome. A curious thing, but there we go. We have to go a little further down to find the Autobello, but it is still not a bad distance whatsoever from that car. I really did think that might well go out on the first lap or so, but it goes into a 25th position at lap number 3, beats the Grand Marshal, Caprice Estate, Delta 88, beats a rally car around here, beats the Outlaw as well, the monstrous kind of rock crawly thing. not bad going at all. In the end, it was a ruptured fuel tank as well that got it. It was still steering, the engine still worked. So that, yeah, is another impressive vehicle. We do have to go a little further down to find the Covet Turtle. Still not too bad from that that vehicle. It was overheating in the end that got that, although it was going to be in trouble fairly soon, I suspect, with wheel damage. It beats the I-Series and the Stance I-Series, likes the Burnside Estate. Can't quite beat the 200EX, the Sunburst police car, the Derby bus. They all got stuck in the chicane afterwards with various steering issues. It could have been a lot worse for the Covet Turtle. It could have been a lot worse for that car, that is for sure. That, though, is going to be it for this episode. As ever, I shall link all the mods used in the description so you can download them and have a go with them yourself. That'll be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.